And we are live. Welcome, everyone, to the Connected for Real podcast. I am Rebbetzin Bat-Chen Grossman, and I'm so excited. Today, I want to tell you the doors are officially open to Balance for God's Sake. This is my private coaching program. It is one-on-one, full, full, full hand holding. I am with you, 100% attention. I love this program. I created it because I realized how important it is for me when I'm being coached to have who to turn to and to know exactly what to do all the time and not to feel like I'm doing this alone. And after being in a bunch of different programs and having a bunch of different coaches, I realized that the less touch points I had, the less results I got. And the more I was able to connect to the person I was working with and ask questions and really raise my hand to get the help I needed, the more I was getting results. And that's what we're talking about today. Today, I want to tell you about the Balance for God's Sake program. I'd like to invite you because I really, really, truly believe that if you're listening to this podcast and you have been lurking in the background, then this may be something that is right for you right now. And if it isn't, then definitely send me an email. Let me know. I love hearing what you're up to and how well you're doing and where you're in your life, in your journey. It makes me so happy when people write just random, hey, I heard your podcast and I'm not signing up, but I want to tell you this, that, and the other are happening. It makes me very happy. But if this is for you, then I would love to extend that invitation because it's really an honor to be working with the women I work with. And I think you are awesome and you deserve to have the VIP experience of being completely held and supported through this journey. Okay, so let's talk about what Balance for God's Sake is all about. My specialty is the intersection between marriage and your success. Okay, a lot of my podcasts and a lot of what I do talks about business, but it's not necessarily only business. It really comes down to the success, the fear of success, and then the effects of success. So the fears of success is I'm afraid to go after my dreams. I'm afraid to go after my calling. I'm afraid to even, think about, dream about, want something that will take me out of the equilibrium that I have created in my life. And how will that affect my family? How will that affect my marriage? How is it going to affect my husband and maybe his self-esteem, the way he sees himself? Is it going to hurt him if I make more money? Is it going to make him jealous? Is it going to cause him to be resentful of me that I'm doing less in the house and more falls on him? That is a whole huge topic that we deal with. And then on the other side of fear of success is the actual success and the things that it brings with it, the effects of success. And that is, wow, I'm successful. And what's going on is I am workaholic. I am too excited about my work and not so excited about home. What do I do? I'm feeling resentful that I'm not actually as supported as I wished I was or as I see other people are. And maybe the more money is bringing up more issues and where to allocate the money and how to deal with a lot of the sensitivities and the issues that come up when you're actually finally making it, right? We have this vision of when I am rich or when I make it or when I'm successful. And then you get there and you're like, I'm just in the same exact place I was, except now I have more money, right? Like I'm still stuck. I'm still feeling frustrated. I'm still resentful. I'm still annoyed. My husband is still the same husband and my kids are still the same kids. Taking deep breath because it's real. And so, what happens when you made it and it's not enough, or you made it and it didn't actually solve the problem, or you're afraid of making it because all the people you see around you are dropping like flies when they make it to success. A lot of people that I personally know, a lot of people that I hear about are talking about making it to 1 million, making it to 6 figures. I finally made it out of poverty and I had the freedom to get divorced, separate, have my own life, turn the tables. And that's very, very dangerous. And I don't want that for anyone. And I have found that it's not really about the money. It's not really about the success. It is very much about you and the way that you contain that success and the way that you are able to create the atmosphere in your own home and change the dance so that you can create the flow that you want. And when I say flow, people say it resonates so much. So I'm just going to drop into that just a moment. Take a deep breath. Think of flow, right? Everything just sort of goes and flows, and things come as they come, and you are calm. And you know what to do, and you know how to deal. And when you don't know, you know who to ask. And there is this feeling of everything's under control, even though I'm not controlling it, right? Everything is fine. It's going to be fine. It is fine right now. I'm okay. Everybody's okay. And everything around you could be a complete tornado, but you have very, very sure, calm, relaxed energy about you. And I'm not talking about changing your personality because I am very bubbly. I'm very all over the place. And I very much did not change my personality. But the insides of me have a very different energy when it comes to dealing with life. Okay, and I want that for you as well. What we're doing in Balance for God's Sake is we are reprogramming the way that we react to the world, the way that we let business, success, career, whatever it is, sort of pull us along, and we're just going with the flow, right? It's almost like when something is pulling you, the flow isn't flow, it's choppy, right? It's like if you can imagine being like thrown up and down and hitting the ground many times and all the pebbles and whatever that is. It's very comical in my mind when I think of the cartoonish way of being dragged, right? It's not a flow. When you're being dragged by a system, dragged by this is how you're supposed to do things. This is how things are supposed to be. It feels very bumpy. It feels very choppy. It feels very uncomfortable. It hurts. And I don't want to be there. I don't want to do that. That's not working, right? And I feel like a lot of times when you're in business, then obviously you need this and then you need that. And you're supposed to do this and that. And this is how your offerings are supposed to look. And this is how your marketing is supposed to look. And this is what you're supposed to do. And you have to show up to social media and you have to do this, that, and the other. And maybe you don't. Maybe you don't. And what if you didn't? What if you can just really drop in to that really silent place where you have a direct connection to God and a way to receive downloads, messages, clarity of exactly what you need to do, not because that's what you're supposed to do and everyone else is doing, but because that is the exact thing for you. It's going to alleviate so much of the stress, the resistance, the frustration of having to do things that you're not comfortable doing. And, believe me, when God gives me a download that I have to come and show up and do something, it doesn't mean that I don't have the fear of, oh, I'm afraid I don't want to speak in public or I don't want to open up a podcast or who am I to say these things. Of course, I have that. I'm all jittery inside, but the jittery is excitement. It's not as like, I can't stand this. I hate it that I have to do this. No, it's more like, okay, I'm really clear on this is what I need to do. And I'm jittery because it's a new thing or I'm getting out of comfort zone. So it feels a little bit out of comfort zone, but it's not bad. Okay, so there's a real big difference. And this is what I want to talk about is you could be doing the same exact thing on the outside, but the way it feels on the inside is different, right? You can be told you have to start a podcast and everybody's starting podcasts and what are you behind? You got to get with the times and blah, blah, blah. And if you're doing it from like, I have to and being dragged into it, you're not going to do it with calm. You're not going to be all collected with your thoughts. It's going to be very choppy. It's going to be very uncomfortable. It's going to hurt. It's going to be, right? Draggy. The energy is not there. But if you sit with it and you get this clarity that, hey, We should really open up a podcast. We have so much to say. There's so much to give. This is a way for me to serve. I feel like God is calling me to do this. Then how can I do it in a way that works for me? How can I do it in a way that doesn't stress me out, in a way that makes me happy, in the way that works with my personality? And if you've been listening for a while, you know I like to batch. I make sure that I do it at times that work for me. And when I'm awake and happy and excited about talking, and I pick the days that work best for me, and I pick the guests that I like and not anybody, I'm very picky when it comes to who I bring on and who I let into my world. And I don't make it too structured because I like to go with the flow. But yet I do have a structure, which is the four pillars, and I pick a topic and we come at it from four different angles. So there is this perfect alignment of structure and flow and what works for me and how I do things. Also, I go live. A lot of people are like, "What?" I'm just used to being, recording things and then it drops a million years later. No, I really don't like that. If I recorded it, I want it live. I want it in the world. You should be able to find it. By the way, if you like to watch and not listen, you can go and watch the YouTube video of every single podcast that I create because I personally think it really adds another whole facet to the experience when you can actually see what the person looks like and how they are handling themselves on video, right? So I really like being able to do it my way and make it work for me. And I hope that comes across in the way that the podcast is going, right? I've been doing this podcast for at least 4 years, a long time. I'm really proud of myself. I used to think I'm not consistent, and here I am being consistent. And not only that, I have extra episodes like this one, which is a, really cool experience to be looking back at. If I believed about myself when I was 35 that I couldn't get my act together and I couldn't do anything consistently, I couldn't pray consistently, I couldn't clean consistently, I was either all or nothing, everything was really a hot mess. And now I look at my life and I was like, wow, how did we do this? And I have an answer to that how because I had to reverse engineer what happened to me. And it was very much being attentive and aware and listening and following God's messages, the crumbs, the little by step instructions of how to improve, how to transform, how to get to the next level. And I'm obviously still on the journey, and you are going to be on that journey for a long time because, please God, you should live to 120 or more. It is a lifelong journey, and that is why I don't believe in quick fixes. It's why I don't think that there is such thing as all or nothing, even though my brain wants to believe it. And, I have this deep desire to have perfection. In reality, I look back at my journey and at the journey of my clients, and I see that one of the biggest results is the change within yourself, how you see yourself, how you act yourself, how you reflect and see, I didn't freak out, or, it didn't push me over the edge when they said that, or I'm still okay. Something like this would have happened in the past and I would have really lost it, but not this time. And when you realize that about yourself, that is the biggest result, way beyond like, oh, we don't fight anymore, or oh, isn't it nice that now I made more money, or, all these great results that actually are true and are wonderful. But like at the end of the day, it's that feeling inside that you get that you followed your calling, that you got really clear about what you're here to do, that you took action, even though it was scary, but you knew exactly what to do and you did it. And now you're proud of yourself. And it's just, wow, wow, right? That feeling, that wow about yourself is so awesome. It's so awesome. So let's talk about the program a little bit in detail so that I can give you a couple of pointers about what is included, what you're getting. And just so you know, doors are only open in January. So January 1st until January 31st, if I'm not mistaken. I think the 31st is a Friday. So whenever. Yep, it is a Friday. I'm so cool. You know why I'm celebrating that I'm so cool that I knew it was a Friday? Because in my past life, like my husband says, I have no concept of time and I don't notice that time flies, or I don't notice that we are, and whatever the date is. Like somebody will say a date and I'll have to think about it or look it up or whatever. But I prepared myself and I looked at the calendar and I know what January looks like. And it feels nice to know that I'm on track here, people. I'm excited celebrating with you all. So thank you for doing a little celebration dance with me. It's exciting to catch these little moments that seem insignificant to everyone else, but are significant to you because you know what they mean. And I think that's really cool. So, my specialty is marriage. I'm a marriage coach for women in business and successful careers. So, it means that marriage is my number one priority for you. Okay. I want you to unravel the marriage, the criticism, the negativity, the resentment, the frustration. I want you to be able to really sit down with your husband and have a conversation that feels safe, that feels nice, where you are able to communicate and express yourself without having to feel like you're hurting him or stepping on his toes or bothering his ego or like walking on eggshells, right? I want you to feel how that feels. And I know how it feels because I used to come into the house from working as a graphic designer in my previous life. Just kidding. I was a graphic designer for 15 years. And in those years, I would come back from a really great meeting in Tel Aviv. I would rent a car, drive there, have meetings, eat lunch with them, have all these great conversations, come back home, and then have to really lower the volume on myself before I walked in the house because I felt like I had to be respectful of the fact that my husband was home all day with the kids or that he was taking the majority of the weight of the housework, and mostly because he wasn't as fulfilled in his work or he couldn't find something that really hit the spot for him. And I felt bad because I thought he was going to be jealous of me. And I was sure that he was resentful that I was successful and he wasn't, or that I was making money and he wasn't, or that, people wanted to hear from me and not from him. I mean, it really took a big explosion of me screaming at him and taking it all out on him that he's holding me back. And the reason why I'm not making more money is because I feel bad for him and things like that, that he really turned around and was like, why? I'm totally happy. I'm fine. Tell me what I can do and we'll make it work. For me to realize that it was all in my head. Okay, so I'm not telling you it's all in your head. What I'm saying is that the reality of walking on eggshells and not wanting to step on his toes is a real reality. And it is possible to change that dance by changing our own programming. And that is why I only work with women. I only work with the wife. And I actually don't think you need to get your husband on board and into the, you know, whatever conversation. You don't have to drag him to come and meet with us with a couple's experience for this to be extremely successful. And not only that, when we only work with the wife, magic happens, something that would not be available if the husband was there. And I'll tell you why, because then the wife finally feels free to say what she actually wants and to want more and complain and get it all out of her system without having to hurt his feelings. And then we can turn around and say, okay, now what? How are we going to reach those goals? What are we going to do in order to deepen your relationship, connect with God like never before, get your marriage to thrive, get your business to thrive? Like, really, really, really feel close to your husband in a way that is a new reality. Okay? That's basically what my top first thing is. So that's like one half. of the equation is the marriage. And of course, in my program, we talk about intimacy, we talk about communication, we talk about in laws and children and other relationships. We address a bunch of exercises and different things that you can do to change the dance, change the way the atmosphere is in the house, change the way that you speak to him, the way that he speaks to you, the criticism that's coming through, the negativity gets turned off or flipped. It's a very exciting part of the program. And when I say program, I'm talking about you get one-on-ones and you get recordings and you get WhatsApp support. So that's like live coaching over text or voice notes. So in the recordings, a large majority is about marriage and how everything we're talking about affects your marriage. But then there's also the business or the success part. And I believe that regardless of everything else that's going on in your life, if you're feeling called to go and do something bigger, and usually it's bigger than yourself and it's scary and it seems impossible, the coolest thing you could do is go and start to follow that and really show yourself how possible that is. Right? Creating possibility from what seems impossible. And when talking about business or success or yourself within that, I think the coolest part is really having that very clear alignment to God to receive the step-by-step instructions of what we're doing next and nothing more and nothing less. Really optimizing so that you don't have to work hard, so that you don't have to be busy for no reason, so that you're not running away from doing other things by, sort of trying to keep yourself busy as a distraction. And I think one of the biggest things that comes up for my clients is that feeling of failure where you just feel like a hot mess. You feel like you're not enough. You feel like forget about more clients. I don't want more work. I don't want to do so much. I want to just figure it out. And even though your days are packed and there's so much going on, there's an emptiness that just sort of takes over, right? There's like this void. And whatever you do to stuff it isn't working. So then you have on top of everything else this, failed attempts to stuff your emotions or stuff the emptiness. It's exhausting. It's exhausting. It's exhausting to feel depleted. It's exhausting to be exhausted. It's exhausting to be emotionally drained. And instead, what I'd like you to consider is that you can have that fulfillment. And I love how the words work out so well, like the emptiness and the fulfillment. It's so true. It's so exact, right? Instead of filling the emptiness with distractions and things that are going to just stuff it and sort of bottle it in, you fill it with truth. You fill it with God's guidance. You fill it with true love. That love that doesn't go away, that feeling of everything's okay. And then your life starts looking different. It's full and it's full of muchness, a lot of different things, but they're all aligned. They're all things you want. And part of that, part of the work we do is sometimes having to make decisions, hard decisions about what do I put my energy into and what am I letting go of. And honestly, when people say, I want it all, I say it's possible to have it all, but only the all that matters to you. If there are things in your calendar that matter to everyone else but you, then you're probably not 100% in it. And then you're just frustrated and resentful and annoyed and, ugh, not really there. And the energy isn't there. And so, again, like we're really going to focus on aligning your life to your values and making them work for you. So instead of feeling like a hot mess, you're feeling really organized, really streamlined, really optimized, really good about the way things are. And you're able to get answers when you need them. You're able to turn to your husband and get support when you need it. You feel comfortable saying things that in the past you may not have felt comfortable saying. maybe your opinion, maybe asking for help. All these different things start to come together, and it's absolutely amazing. Recently on the podcast, we had some previous clients who came to speak about the experience, and it's a real gift. I want to thank every single one of them, and I want to tell you how much of a gift it is. Because being that I work in this field, marriage and business. So, yeah, if it was just about business, people don't have a problem coming and saying, "Oh my gosh, I doubled my revenue after working with Bat-Chen." Or, she helped me cross the 4-minute mile. And actually, I'm like, so much more successful now just by that one meditation that flipped everything around. That's really fun and it's really cool, but it takes so much out of someone to come and say, wow, my marriage completely transformed, because it's not comfortable talking about that, especially not on a podcast where people are possibly going to find you and see you. So I am extremely grateful for the authenticity and the vulnerability of these women. And I want to tell you, they're only a very small minority, because most of my clients, and this is totally completely normal, will not give a testimonial or will not come on and speak about their experience, because it is an extremely private process. And that is the reason why I created the Balance for God's Sake to be a private program. So in the past, I had masterminds, and I found that group was awesome and it was really great energy for all of us, but you didn't get the most out of it because you didn't want to say the scariest things, or you didn't want to open up to the things that were actually the root of the problem, because they were embarrassing, because they were, uncomfortable, because there was a lot of shame and guilt and vulnerability in that, and very rightfully so. And I caught on really quickly to say, as much as I love groups, one-on-one is so powerful when you have something like this that's hiding in the depth of your stomach and causing you these bubbles to come up and these reactions that you're not comfortable with. And there's nowhere you can turn to talk about that really, really deep core issue with, because it's the elephant in the room. It's the thing that nobody wants to talk about. And to be able to do that in a safe place with me, where we laugh a lot and we have fun and we work with your body, so we're not going to poke at something that hurts just for no reason. There is absolutely no room for scary, negative, dark places in my coaching. Instead, my positivity is contagious, and I believe it's extremely important to bring God's light into all the darkness. Okay, so instead of going into the dark by ourselves, we bring God along. We go in, we heal the pain if we need to. We let God heal the pain when we don't want to deal with it. We learn lessons. We find out things that we needed to know. We get the most beautiful pearls of wisdom, gold nuggets, jewels, gems. The most beautiful learnings and teachings come from these one-on-one sessions where we go really deep and we come out absolutely refreshed and amazing. And everybody who has worked with me knows that when we go in, we come out, and you could probably sit down and write a book just from that experience alone, right? There is just so much to learn when you silence the outside noise and you go inside yourself. And I am here to help you do that. I'm here to guide you through it. Sometimes I'll feel it's really right to go into a guided meditation, and I'll take you in and I'll custom create a meditation that's just for you based on what I'm receiving at that moment. So it's all really, really unique and tailor-made, personalized for you, which I find absolutely amazing. I know that Jennifer Backety, she spoke in the episode about business and goals. She spoke about how we worked on marriage. We did not touch business at all. And she over doubled her revenue when we worked together. That was cool. That was really fun. And that was a fun conversation too. But anyway, I brought her up because she said straight out, she's like, every single time I showed up to a call, I had no idea where we were going. I didn't even know if I had a problem to address. I just showed up because I knew it was worth it. And then we came out on the other side like, how did that happen? Where did this come from? And it's just really amazing to experience that. So I invite you to come and experience that. Really, it's life-changing. Nahama Kaplan said that after one session, she got her money back. Like she signed up for the 3-month coaching program, and on day one, already everything was like, woo, breakthrough. So it's really, really beautiful. You can go back and listen to those. They are awesome. So, as I said, and I just want to walk you through it, Balance for God's Sake is open the entire month of January. We are closing doors January 31st. Make sure you get in. I have to say, if we exceed the limitation of how many people I can have, I will close it early. So don't wait till the last minute. Schedule your call as soon as possible, and let's get you in there if it's right for you. The way I do it is you schedule a free discovery call. We meet, you have an entire 60 minutes with me, an hour to really go through and clarify what your goals are. And even just coming to the discovery call is worth everything. So even though it's free, it's extremely valuable. And people who have not signed up have seen miracles just from that call. And after we have that free discovery call, I create a roadmap for you. We have our goals really clear. We get really, really granular about what you're going to do next, how you're going to do it, what's going to happen when, and then we start working together. Okay. So you can either take the free discovery call and then find out it's not right for you, and that's okay. Or you can take the free discovery call. We'll wrap it up with a roadmap personalized to you with step by step what you need to do next. And then we get rolling and create magic together with God. Please, God. If you are not the type to like discovery calls and you're like, I just want in, just send us an email and we will make sure to send you the link. It's not a secret. It's just that I like meeting people if I can and making sure that it's right for you. But if you know it's right for you and you're feeling it, I will send you the link directly and you should be able to sign up even without a discovery call. I will give that option at the last minute as well for people who were waiting on the fence for too long and now realize that January 31st is tomorrow or today and there's no time to schedule a discovery call anymore. You will have the ability to sign up with the link. So look out for that email if you're the type to wait for the last minute. I do want to warn you though, it's sad to wait to the last minute. If you can have a free discovery call and do it really like, slowly and surely and know that it's exciting and exactly how it needs to be. But I know some people are just not into that, and that's okay. So you can schedule your discovery call and that will start the ball rolling, or you can ask me for the link and I will gladly give it to you. Either way, once we fill up and sell out, there will be no more room until 3 months from now. This is right for you if you're ready to get answers directly from God. I'm going to say it straight out because it's really weird and it's really strange to say that. You don't have to be a prophet to know what God wants. You don't have to be some woo-woo something or rather to pretend that you have a direct connection or whatever. God loves you. He put you here in this world so that he can have a relationship with you. What he wants is for you to know that and acknowledge that he is here with you and wants to guide you. And as soon as you start having that conversation and asking the questions, God will show you answers. It's not a one-way conversation. Prayer is not one way. God always, always gives answers. And what we're doing is we're learning to listen, right? That is what I teach. I teach you how to pray, how to connect, how to talk to God, and then how to listen, how to receive what God has to offer. So if you are ready for God to just pour down that abundance on you, then let's go. Let's go. Sign up. Let's get into it because it's the skill of listening that we've never been taught, right? We've all been taught to ask, go turn to God, pray, pray, pray. We've all been taught. But have you been taught the skill of listening, the skill that it takes to be able to receive the answers so clearly that you can't ignore it? And of course, you can always ignore it. And we very easily ignore God's answers all the time because they're hidden in plain sight. But that's what we're going to learn is really how to decipher what God really wants. And it's a really beautiful process to go through. Once you learn it, you can't unlearn it. So this is a really beautiful skill to invest your time in. Besides God, and obviously God is at the core of everything I do. And this brings out a really important point that I want to make, that I am God-centered. I want to make it really clear that I'm not talking about the level of observance or what religion you're in or how connected or disconnected you are from God. I could not care less. What I care about is that God is at the core of everything you do. Why? Because when you are here and you have your marriage pulling you in one way, your family and everything that you created and want, and so much of the hopes and dreams of this is the way I imagined my life with a husband and children and doing this, that, and the other. And then on the other side, you have your purpose and your business or your career or the thing that you thought you were here to do. And the legacy that you want to leave behind. And that's pulling you in the other direction. What's happening now is that you are being pulled in two different directions and it hurts. It doesn't feel good to have that tug of war. And when you bring God into it, what you're doing is realigning everything. You're basically pulling everything to the same point. You are gathering all of the parts of yourself and realigning them with God. When you do that, things start to flow just naturally, automatically. That's why in 3 months you can get so much done because I'm not going to tell you what's going to happen once you realign. I'm just teaching you the skills to align. I'm teaching you the skills to gather yourself and align yourself to your creator, to God, so that you can receive the abundance, so that you can be in that flow, so that you don't have to suffer. Good? Clear? I want you to run your business, the business of your dreams, or whatever career you're in, the success that's coming to you. I want you to hold that without having to sacrifice any part of your life. And in your marriage, I want you to be in love with your husband. I want you to feel supported. I want you to know that you made the right decision, that you are in the right place. And when thoughts start to creep in about why is he doing it this way? And why am I stuck with this guy? And what's wrong with me? And what's wrong with my life? Then I want you to know what to do about it so that you know how to handle it and you don't have to feel stuck. And I want you to have the balance. I want you to feel that balance because that's what creates the flow. It's the ability to hold this and that without being a seesaw. So when you schedule a discovery call, you're going to find out what your goals are, what your dreams are, how to reach them, practicality, big picture, details, a unique roadmap. It's awesome. Go to connectedforreal.com, click on private coaching. You will find the link to schedule a discovery call and do it. Just do it. It's free. And then I will invite you to work with me. And the 3-month private coaching program called Balance for God's Sake includes 6 one-on-ones with me, which means every other week. It includes an entire library of trainings and sessions and videos and walkthroughs about everything from marriage to business to dealing with difficulties to communication to getting in touch with God to hearing God. We talk about in-laws and parents and children and other relationships. We talk about practical things, how to start your business, how to run your business, how to optimize your business. We talk about email lists. We talk about webinars. We talk about a lot of different aspects of your business. And the beautiful thing is that you don't have to do it all. You don't have to watch it all. It's there for you so you can pick and choose what you need right now. And I help you do that. I will help you pick what is right and what you need to listen to. But even sometimes you look through it and there's like a title that pulls you, go for it. Go for it. A lot of times God guides it that way as well. So there's a whole library of trainings and sessions, and it's beautiful. There is also a meditation library that is absolutely magnificent. And every time I do a meditation, we record it and we put it there with music. It's very cool. Some of the older ones don't have music, they're still just as amazing. And the last thing that is probably the most valuable is the WhatsApp support. If you don't have WhatsApp, then it's email support. You can raise your hand at any time and say, hey, I'm having a problem with this. I'm having a hard time with this. This is not working for me. I don't feel like doing this. Whatever it is, my husband's annoying. My children just got on my nerves. I can't handle it. I'm not sure what to do next. All these things, just send them my way and I will answer back. Sometimes by voice note, sometimes by text, but I will always, always reply. Please God, I should have the ability to reply. Usually very, very soon. I don't guarantee that I will reply immediately because I am living in Israel and I do have a life, but I do my best to get back to you and give you a pep talk if you need, or answer your question, or give you coaching on the spot, and really help you adjust the situation to what we learn, how we adjust, how we realign. Okay. So that's what you get. Is so amazing. Right now in January, there is also the bonuses. So the bonus of the Intimacy Masterclass, which is a mind-blowing training that is going to just get you on track for something absolutely amazing. So, on the marriage front, the Intimacy Masterclass, an absolute bestseller. You're going to create a rock solid marriage that starts from the inside. Really. It's absolutely amazing. Amazing. I created this intimacy masterclass because people were saying that they never really got answers to a lot of the things, a lot of the questions that were coming up for them, a lot of the experiences that they are now dealing with that they didn't think to even ask because they didn't know they existed when they were being taught a lot of things when they were newly married. So, this is a really, really, really powerful intimacy masterclass, and it's a bonus. So, you're going to get it included when you sign up. And the other thing is the mini course, Run Your Business Like God Runs His World. And that's where we talk about time management and systems and delegation and automations from the angle of how to do it in the best way possible, which is in the way that God does it, right? So we learn how God runs the world and then we bring it into our business. A very good mini course. It's a series of a bunch of different sessions. The time management is probably my favorite. There's part one and part two. It's so fun, so fun. So those are the two bonuses that you're going to get if you sign up in January. You can sign up any other time, but you may not have the opportunity to get those. So make sure you get in. Some very quick answers to questions that come up a lot. If you're not married, sorry, I only work with married women. If you're a man, obviously, I cannot work with you. I only work with married women. And if you are married and you're not sure your marriage will last, or you're not sure what is the status of, what will be, get on a discovery call. Let's talk about it. I do have the ability to support you through making that decision and figuring yourself out. If you feel like this is right for you and you're just not sure if this is going to get in the way, get on a discovery call. Let's talk it out. It's really a case by case basis. But for the most part, and as a rule, I work with married women only. if you're not in business, that's less of an issue because I am expanding my horizons. I used to talk a lot about only business, but I have a lot of clients that came through that wanted to grow their business and didn't have a business to begin with. And so that obviously they didn't have a business, but they still were very perfect clients. And then I also had women who weren't in business. They were doctors, lawyers, whatever careers that are successful. And they were still perfect clients because everything we're talking about is still around the same parameters. So I've opened up my niche to be married women in business or successful careers. Okay. So you are welcome to come and schedule a discovery call if you are in business, if you're not in business, if you believe that this is going to be life changing for you. Go for it. So that is it for today's podcast episode. If you are ready to get answers from God directly, you are ready to feel more in love with your husband and feel more supported than ever, and if you are ready to run the business of your dreams without having to sacrifice any other part of your life, and you want to be in balance, then sign up for Balance for God's Sake at connectedforreal.com/coaching.